Hello everyone, my name is Rob and today I'm going to be showing you 5 Sculk Sensor traps in Minecraft 1.17. This is the new snapshot, so it's obviously not the completed version, but in these snapshots we've had a lot of new blocks introduced, one of which is the Sculk Sensor. And the Sculk Sensor is revolutionary for redstone because now you can do wireless redstone, which is going to be really interesting to play around with. So today I've lined up 5 different traps that you can use to prank your friends with. But first of all, let's recap how the Sculk Sensor works. This Sculk Sensor here basically captures noise, and once it gets a noise it transforms it into a redstone signal, the strength of which depends on the source of the noise. So essentially you don't need to connect it to anything for it to activate, which is quite fun and obviously quite sneaky. Something else you can do is you can place wool around it, and if you do so, it will not be able to hear the noise from that direction. Now the main advantage of the Sculk Sensor is that it is completely invisible. If you have, for example, a corridor like this, and you had a trap in 1.16 or earlier, you would always have some kind of indication of what was going on. But the Sculk Sensor bypasses that completely, and essentially there is no way to know where it is. And this makes for some very deadly traps. To start off simply, this is trap number 1, and trap number 1 consists of a row of TNT connected to the Sculk Sensor. Now you need to be careful when placing the blocks around it because it could set off the TNT. So let me just change my game mode to survival and see what happens when I walk closer to the Sculk Sensor. Oh, I've set off something, and whoa, bong. Dead. That can be quite deadly. Now I've seen online that people have actually created other designs, for example this one here, where in theory if you place a minecart with TNT on top of a powered rail next to Sculk Sensor, it should activate it, and in theory it would make this explode instantaneously, but as you can see it doesn't seem to be working in my version, and I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. So it may be the latest snapshot where they've changed this, or it may just be some specifications that I have that I've not realized, but it is entirely possible that this will work in 1.17. So trap number 2 uses a different system. This one uses sticky pistons to create a floor trap, and the idea is that we've got a Sculk Sensor connected to all of these pistons here, and when we walk down this corridor, those pistons are going to open up the floor and we're going to fall down in lava. With this one I've actually added a bit of modification. I've waterlogged the Sculk Sensor so it won't make a noise, and all of this extra wool here is to make sure it doesn't create a loop with the pistons. So let's go into survival and test this trap out. So you go forward, fall down in lava and die. It's a very simple trap. You could do it with a pressure plate, but it wouldn't be as sneaky. And the nice thing of this trap is that it's reusable because it just resets itself every time. Trap number 3 uses a similar design idea. You've got the retractable piston, you've got the Sculk Sensor connected to them. But in this case, rather than falling into the floor, the ceiling opens up and drops something on top of you. Now I'm going to fill this with creepers, but you can put whatever mob you want essentially. So we've got all our creepers in place. If you walk forward, oh no! I actually managed to survive that because one of the creepers blew up all the other creepers. But you get the idea. You can basically drop down anything you fancy. So yeah, there you go, that's a fun one. Up to now all the traps we've been looking at have been completely destructive and have caused a lot of damage and death. But maybe you don't want to kill your friends, you just want to prank them and annoy them. So this is what you can do. As you can see, there is a load of Sculk Sensors hidden within the walls and within the floor. Imagine this is someone's base. Especially works well if there's a very big base. You just hide a lot of Sculk Sensors in the walls, and your friends then will have to go through their walls to try and find all of the sensors. It can be very annoying and very loud. I've had to put the volume down. And you can actually make this even more irritating by hiding lava or water within the walls. So for example, if you want to get to the Sculk Sensor behind here, your friend might knock open that block and suddenly they've got water all over their base. So not as deadly as a trap, but definitely very annoying. Trap number 5 is a lot more complex, but it's basically just showing you that you can use the Sculk sensors in different ways. You don't have to have immediate traps that instantaneously activate once the Sculk sensor triggers a noise. But for example, you can connect it up to a redstone clock to add a delay to your trap. So this has got a Sculk sensor in this little cocoon here that's connected to this redstone clock, and this will basically delay your trap anywhere between 1 second and 5 minutes. And then you can kind of add whatever trap you want at the end. I've added a load of TNT over there. So let's try this out. Let's say your friend wants to come into their room and do something in here. They're just kind of relaxing. And as you may have noticed, I've also silenced the Sculk sensor, so you can't actually hear any noise. Eventually, this may take a bit. Eventually you hear that, and boom, dead. So obviously this is a bit more complex, but it's just showing that a Sculk sensor can be used with other redstone mechanics in order to make even more complex and deadly traps. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please consider subscribing. It really does help me out loads. And if you have other design ideas, or you just want me to go through the schematics of each of these builds, let me know in the comments below. I could always do a part 2. But until next time, thank you for watching. Bye!